Hi, I'm Mike, and this is my verse of the day. Today it's Romans chapter 1, verse 16, which says, "For I am not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of God for salvation to everyone who believes." The only reason Paul would have wrote this is because there were Christians that were ashamed of the gospel, that wanted to follow the world's way, yet still call themselves Christians. And that's just the antithesis of what we're called to do. When we're called to be Christ followers, we're called to be different from the world. Not follow the world's values and the world's priorities and the world's ways, but to follow God's values and God's priorities and God's ways. The gospel is so exciting. We don't want to keep that to ourselves, nor do we want to turn our back on it and be ashamed of it. The gospel is Jesus died on the cross for our sins and rose from the dead. And that Jesus is sitting on the right hand of God the Father and promises to come back one day. And that when we check out of this earth, we have a home with him in heaven. That's the gospel. But it's also a present day gospel that God's delivered us from our sin and that he has shown us through Jesus how to live in this world and to live a joy-filled life. The power of God for salvation. That salvation is that we're saved from our sins. That's the past salvation. That he shows us how to live and we're constant sanctification. That he's making us more Christ-like. That's in the present salvation. And the future salvation that someday we'll be with him in heaven. There's no reason to be ashamed. Because what happens is we have confidence in this. That it's true. And our faith takes away fear. And so when there's a conflict between the world's ways and God's ways, I will always choose God's ways because that's the power of God. Thanks for listening today.